Hello fans! General Hospital bombshell. Sonny's deadly plan derailed by Natalia's shocking paternity revelation. The turbulent world of Port Charles continues to deliver jaw-dropping twists as recent General Hospital spoilers reveal a devastating confrontation between Sonny Corinthos and Marco Rios that takes an unexpected turn when long-buried secrets surface. What begins as a calculated plan for revenge transforms into a life-altering moment that threatens to reshape the very foundation of the Corinthos family dynamics. The escalating conflict. The tension between Sonny Corinthos and Marco Rios has reached a boiling point following recent tragic events in Port Charles. Sonny has increasingly viewed Marco as a significant threat to his family and empire, particularly after the series of fires that endangered his loved ones. The mob boss's suspicions about Marco's connections to Jen Sidwell have intensified, creating a dangerous situation where Sonny believes eliminating Marco is the only solution to protect his family. Marco's heroic act of saving Christina from the Charlie's Pub fire, while simultaneously being unable to save his mother Natalia, has created a complex web of guilt and resentment. The young man's anguish over potentially being able to prevent his mother's death has fueled his hatred towards Sonny, whom he blames for driving Natalia to despair. This mutual animosity has created a powder keg situation that threatens to explode into violence. Sonny's calculated decision. Driven by his belief that Marco poses an existential threat to his family, Sonny has reportedly made the cold calculation that Marco must be eliminated. The veteran mob boss, known for his ruthless efficiency when protecting his interests, sees Marco not just as Sidwell's son but as a direct threat to everything he holds dear. His dismissive attitude toward Marco's grief, particularly his statement that if Marco is collateral damage, so be it, demonstrates the depth of his resolve. This decision represents a significant escalation in the ongoing war between Sonny and Sidwell, with Marco becoming the unfortunate focal point of their conflict. The young lawyer's position at the center of this dangerous game has made him a target, despite his genuine grief over losing his mother and his heroic actions in saving Christina. The shocking interruption. Just as Sonny prepares to execute his deadly plan against Marco, the unthinkable occurs. Natalia Ramirez, previously believed to have died by suicide 2 weeks earlier, suddenly appears at the crucial moment. Her unexpected presence completely derails Sonny's intentions and sets the stage for revelations that will forever change the lives of everyone involved. Natalia's dramatic reappearance raises immediate questions about the circumstances surrounding her alleged death. The woman who had been mourned by her son and whose loss had driven much of the recent conflict between Sonny and Marco is suddenly very much alive, carrying secrets that have the power to reshape everything. The life-changing confession. In a moment that will undoubtedly become one of General Hospital's most memorable scenes, Natalia delivers a confession that leaves Sonny completely stunned. She reveals that Marco is not just connected to Sonny through their current conflict, he is actually Sonny's biological son. This revelation completely recontextualizes everything that has transpired between the two men. The confession that Natalia and Sonny's history extends back 30 years, rather than the few years Sonny believed, adds layers of complexity to their relationship. Their one-night encounter 3 decades ago resulted in Marco's birth, a fact that Natalia has kept hidden all these years. This revelation explains much about the intense emotions and complicated dynamics that have characterized their recent interactions. The timing of this revelation, just as Sonny is about to commit an unthinkable act against his own son, creates a dramatic irony that speaks to the show's ability to weave complex emotional storylines. The man Sonny saw as his enemy is revealed to be his own flesh and blood, making his planned actions not just morally questionable but deeply personal and tragic. The fake death revelation. Adding another layer to the shocking turn of events, Natalia confesses that she orchestrated her own apparent death 2 weeks earlier. Her motivation for this drastic action stems from her desire to escape the escalating conflict between Sonny and Sidwell, refusing to be caught in the middle of their dangerous war. This decision to fake her death represents a desperate attempt to find peace and safety away from the violence that has consumed the lives of those around her. The revelation that Natalia staged her own death explains the suspicious circumstances surrounding her apparent suicide and provides context for Marco's intense grief and anger. His belief that he had lost his mother, combined with his guilt over not being able to save her, has been driving his actions and his hatred towards Sonny. learning that his mother is alive while simultaneously discovering that his greatest enemy is actually his father creates an emotional whirlwind that threatens to overwhelm him. The ripple effects. This dramatic revelation promises to have far-reaching consequences for multiple characters and storylines. For Sonny, the discovery that he nearly killed his own son will likely trigger intense guilt and force him to reevaluate his methods and assumptions. The veteran mob boss, who has always prided himself on protecting his family, must now confront the fact that his actions nearly led to the ultimate betrayal of that principle. Marco's world has been completely turned upside down by these revelations. Not only is his mother alive, but his entire understanding of his identity and family history has been shattered. The man he has grown to hate as his mother's tormentor is revealed to be his biological father, while the man he believed was his father, Sidwell, has been living a lie. This emotional upheaval will likely drive significant character development and create new dynamics within the Port Charles community. Next, we will learn about the escalating family tensions ripping through Port Charles, centered on Brooklyn Quartermain's heartbreaking struggle with her son Joe Palmieri's mounting resentment, the heart-wrenching revelation, and its aftermath. In the glittering aftermath of the nurse's ball, Brooklyn Quartermain finds herself plunged into a sea of emotional turmoil as her long-lost son, Giovanni Joe Palmieri, grapples with the shocking truth of his adoption. What was meant to be a moment of potential reunion has instead ignited a firestorm of rejection and anger. Joe, now a teenager navigating his identity in the chaotic world of Port Charles, feels utterly betrayed by the public unveiling of his origins. This isn't just a simple family secret. It's a profound wound that has left him questioning everything he thought he knew about love and loyalty. Brooklyn, portrayed with raw vulnerability by actress Amanda Seddon, is depicted as a mother desperate to bridge the gap, but every step she takes seems to widen the chasm. Adding layers to this drama, we've invented a new element. Imagine Brooklyn discovering an old journal from her past, filled with entries about her difficult decision to give Joe up, which she now contemplates sharing with him in a bid for understanding. This personal artifact could serve as a catalyst, forcing Joe to confront the complexities of her choices amid the high society pressures of the Quartermain legacy. Gio's fury intensifies with new betrayals. Gio's resentment boils over, fueled not only by the adoption bombshell but also by Brooklyn's recent meddling in Rocco Falcone's birth story, a tangled web involving the late Britt Westburn's embryo scandal. This investigation, initially sparked by Brooklyn's desire to undermine Lulu Spencer, has backfired spectacularly, pushing Joe squarely into Lulu's corner. Picture Joe, with his youthful intensity, standing up for Rocco during a heated family gathering at the Falconeri home, his words sharp as daggers aimed at Brooklyn's heart. We've expanded this with a creative twist to suppose Joe uncovers a hidden audio recording of Brooklyn discussing her plans with a confidant, amplifying his sense of betrayal and making him question if her maternal love is genuine or just another manipulative ploy. This added detail heightens the stakes, showing how Gio's alignment with Lulu, a figure who has been a steady presence in his life, creates an impenetrable barrier. Brooklyn's uphill battle is now steeper, as she wrestles with the consequences of her actions, wondering if her quest for revenge has cost her the one relationship she yearns to reclaim. A world shattered by loyalty and pain. Brooklyn's entire world feels like it's crumbling under the weight of Gio's unwavering loyalty to Lulu, his former stepmother, especially as he defends Rocco amid the ongoing family upheavals. This loyalty isn't born from whimsy, it's rooted in Gio's own pain from the adoption reveal, mirroring the betrayal he perceives in Brooklyn's vengeful digs. Envision a poignant scene where Brooklyn watches from afar as Joe shares a laugh with Lulu at a local cafe, her heart aching with the realization that her son is finding solace elsewhere. To enrich this narrative, let's introduce a new element. Brooklyn receives anonymous letters from a mysterious Port Charles resident, hinting at untold secrets about Lulu's past that could sway Joe back, but she hesitates, fearing it might deepen the rift. Her anguish propels her to fight harder for his trust, yet each rejection slices deeper, testing the limits of her resilience. The question looms large: can the sheer force of her love penetrate Gio's armored heart, or will his simmering anger cement a permanent divide between mother and son? The backfired investigation and paths to redemption. What started as Brooklyn's calculated probe into Rocco's origins despite Lulu has spectacularly misfired, alienating Joe even more and leaving her drowning in regret. Compounded by her mother Lois Trullo's secretive handling of the adoption details years ago, Brooklyn is now driven to seek amends, perhaps through a raw and filtered heart-to-heart conversation in the opulent halls of the Quartermain mansion. Imagine the tension building as soft candlelight flickers during this imagined encounter, with Brooklyn bearing her soul about the fears and sacrifices that led to her decisions. We've invented an additional layer. Suppose Tracy Quartermain, ever the sharp-tongued matriarch, overhears and intervenes with tough love, urging Brooklyn to consider therapy sessions for the family to unpack these buried traumas. However, Gio's budding connection with Lulu and Dante Falconeri could obstruct this path, creating alliances that feel unbreakable. If Harrison Chase, her devoted husband, or Tracy advises a more cautious strategy, will Brooklyn listen and adapt, or will her fiery determination lead to even greater heartache? Warnings, growth, and unyielding spirit. Brooklyn's indomitable spirit shines through, as she's not one to fade quietly into the background, but there's a subtle shift in her demeanor suggesting personal growth. These days, she carries an air of maturity, evolving into the woman worthy of Chase's unwavering love, perhaps inspired by quiet moments of reflection amid the chaos. Let's add a creative flourish. Envision Brooklyn volunteering at a local youth center, channeling her pain into helping other troubled teens like Joe, which inadvertently showcases her changing priorities and could impress her son from afar. This development hints at her readiness to confront her flaws, but Gio's rejection threatens to unravel it all. If she persists without heeding warnings, the risk of more pain escalates, yet her journey towards self-improvement adds a layer of hope to the storyline. Family fractures and strained bonds. The fallout from Gio's stance could splinter both the Quartermain and Falconeri families, with Dante Falconeri caught in the crossfire, torn between his sons and Lulu's own battles for recovery and reconnection. Expanded with new details, picture a dramatic family summit at the Metro Court, where accusations fly and old grudges resurface, potentially drawing in characters like Olivia Quartermain for mediation. If Brooklyn fails to bridge the gap with Joe, her marriage to Chase might buckle under the emotional strain, testing their vows in ways they've never imagined. Do you think Brooklyn truly deserves Gio's love and trust after her missteps? Could this be the end of her maternal dreams, or a turning point for redemption? Next, we will learn about the thrilling 2-week spoilers that promise a whirlwind of excitement, budding romances, and intense drama sweeping through Port Charles from July 14th to 25th. Midsummer heat ignites in Port Charles. As the summer sun blazes hotter, Port Charles is set to sizzle with July sweeps bringing a cascade of tests for beloved characters and shadowy secrets begging to be unearthed. Imagine the town buzzing like never before, with alliances shifting and hearts on the line in ways that could redefine family dynamics forever. We've creatively expanded this overview by inventing a town-wide festival coinciding with these events, where residents gather for fireworks and fairs, and knowingly providing the perfect backdrop for clandestine meetings and explosive confrontations. This added element heightens the tension, as public spectacles force hidden agendas into the open, testing everyone's resolve amid the festive chaos. Vengeance brews at Natalia's funeral. The somber occasion of Natalia Ramirez's funeral becomes a powder keg for raw emotions, particularly for her son Marco Rios, whose thirst for revenge against Sonny Corinthos reaches a fever pitch. Marco's unshakable conviction that Sonny orchestrated his mother's demise fuels a dangerous path of retribution, potentially drawing in unexpected allies from the underworld. To deepen this storyline, let's introduce a new inventive twist. Marco stumbles upon a cryptic letter among Natalia's belongings, hinting at a long-buried Corinthos family secret that could arm him with leverage, but also risks pulling him into a moral quagmire. This detail analyzes the psychological toll, showing how grief morphs into obsession, forcing Marco to question if vengeance will heal his wounds or shatter his soul entirely. Lucas's panic amid escalating wars. Lucas Jones finds himself in a state of sheer panic as the brewing conflict between Sonny Corinthos and the formidable Jen Sidwell spirals out of control, threatening to engulf those he holds dear. With lives hanging in the balance, Lucas might seek solace in old friends or family, weighing options that could alter his future in Port Charles. Adding a creative layer, suppose Lucas receives an anonymous tip about Sidwell's next move, hidden in a medical file at the hospital, prompting him to consider going undercover himself, a risky gamble that underscores his desperation. This expansion explores the ripple effects of mob wars on innocents, highlighting Lucas's internal conflict between loyalty to his roots and the urge to protect his rebuilt life. Anna's suspicious dive into Vaughn's past. Police Commissioner Anna Devane takes decisive action by conducting a thorough background check on the enigmatic Vaughn and covering layers that validate her growing distrust. Spoilers tease she might swiftly identify him as a covert WSB agent, while inching perilously close to exposing Jocelyn Jax's closely guarded secret, which could send shockwaves through multiple families. Inventively, we've woven in a scenario where Anna deciphers a coded message in Vaughn's possession during a stakeout at the docks, linking him to international intrigue and analyzing how this revelation might force Jocelyn into a corner, compelling her to confide in unlikely confidants like her mother Carly. Hospital encounters and upsetting revelations. At General Hospital, Sasha Corbin and Michael Corinthos unexpectedly cross paths with Willow Tate, setting the stage for Willow to receive deeply distressing news that shakes her to the core. Speculation swirls that this bombshell ties into Willow's realization that Sasha's potential departure from Port Charles would derail her insidious gaslighting scheme against Sasha, leaving her plans in ruins. To enrich this, imagine Willow overhearing a private conversation between Sasha and a nurse about relocation plans, amplifying her anxiety and prompting frantic scheming. This added detail delves into Willow's unraveling psyche, illustrating how her manipulations could backfire spectacularly if exposed. Outreach and tough choices ahead. Following the hospital drama, Sasha extends an olive branch by reaching out to Nina Reeves, perhaps seeking guidance or closure amid the turmoil. Meanwhile, Michael grapples with a heart-wrenching decision, pondering whether to allow Sasha and Daisy to slip away from town for their safety. Fans are rooting for Willow's schemes to be unmasked promptly, sparing Sasha and Daisy from exile. Creatively expanding, let's suppose Nina shares a forgotten family heirloom with Sasha during their meeting, a necklace symbolizing resilience that inspires Sasha to fight back. Analyzing the potential for this bond to fortify alliances against Willow's deceit. Carly's plea for safety and interrogations. Carly Spencer approaches Sonny with a bold request, urging him to retreat to his secluded private island to shield their children and grandchildren from the encroaching dangers of his volatile world. This plea underscores Carly's fierce protectiveness, born from years of navigating Sonny's turbulent life. Later, Anna turns the heat up by interrogating Carly about Jack Brennan, with questions likely circling his probe into the mysterious Professor Henry Dalton. Introducing a new element, envision Carly finding a suspicious package at her door containing clues about Brennan's true motives, heightening her paranoia and analyzing how this could strain her fragile truce with Sonny. Dante's shocking discovery involving Rocco. Dante Falconeri stumbles upon an email from his son Rocco to Liesl Obrecht, delivering a jaw-dropping surprise that could upend family secrets. Liesl eagerly replies, thrilled to address Rocco's inquiries about the late Britt Westburn and the bizarre circumstances of his own birth. They arrange a casual coffee meet-up to unpack these revelations, laying intriguing groundwork for Britt's possible comeback. Too in-depth, suppose Dante intercepts a follow-up message with encrypted files about Britt's past experiments, forcing him to confront buried traumas and analyzing the emotional fallout on Rocco's quest for identity. Rumors of Britt's return and cloning theories. Whispers abound that Kelly Thibault may reprise her role as Britt Westburn, slipping back into her doctor's attire, though nothing's confirmed yet. Alternative buzz suggests Thibault could embody a fresh character entangled in Professor Dalton's narrative, potentially as a Britt clone amid his cutting-edge cloning research. This theory adds a sci-fi twist to the soap's drama, blurring lines between life and science. Inventively, we've created a subplot where a leaked lab photo circulates online in Port Charles, sparking public hysteria and analyzing how it might accelerate Emma Scorpio Drake's suspicions about Dalton's unethical practices. Emma's bold moves and lab intrigue. Emma Scorpio Drake edges closer to infiltrating Dalton's lab, driven by her belief that he's conducting cruel animal experiments under the guise of research. Her determination could lead to groundbreaking discoveries or grave dangers. Expanding creatively, imagine Emma enlisting a tech-savvy friend to hack into Dalton's security cams, revealing horrifying footage that validates her fears and analyzes the ethical dilemmas of whistleblowing in a town rife with secrets. Portia's struggles and shifting alliances. As her marriage to Curtis Ashford teeters on the brink, Portia Robinson turns to Isaiah Gannon for support, raising eyebrows about whether their closeness could spark an affair, especially with Jordan Ashford still pining for Curtis. This marital meltdown promises steamy developments and heartbreaks. Adding a new detail, suppose Portia confides in Isaiah over a late-night shift at the hospital, sharing a vulnerable story from her past that bonds them, analyzing the potential for new romances to emerge from the ashes of old ones. A bustling fortnight of unmissable action. With Port Charles residents entangled in these multifaceted plots, the coming weeks are packed with non-stop intrigue you won't want to miss. From vengeful pursuits to romantic entanglements and scientific mysteries, every episode builds toward climactic reveals that could forever change the landscape of General Hospital. Tune in daily and join the conversation. What twists are you most excited for?